She didn't tell the cameras. She didn't tell Gino. And she definitely didn't tell TLC. Jasmine Pineda booked a one-way flight to Panama, packed up her entire life in America, and disappeared into silence. No goodbye call, no final kiss, not even a dramatic airport scene. She was gone, and that wasn't the end of the drama. It was only the warning shot. What came next was a full-blown reality TV breakdown off-screen. Allegedly stolen money, fake scenes, emotional manipulation. Jasmine's public image twisted into a rage-filled caricature, and the man she moved across continents for, left completely in the dark, then ghosted. Welcome to TLC Drama Files. I'm Aliva, and today's episode is going to tilt your theory of reality sideways. Hit subscribe if you've ever screamed at your screen during 90 Day Fiancé. And don't forget to drop a comment. Was Jasmine betrayed, or did she play the game and quit it when she didn't win? Because after this episode, you might see her as the show's biggest villain, or its first real hero. Here's what nobody was supposed to find out. Jasmine didn't just leave America, she escaped it. Not the country, but the contract, the edits, the storylines she claims were forced on her. She vanished from the most toxic love story reality TV ever sold us. And in the middle of it, quietly accused TLC of a betrayal worth over $70,000. Let that sink in. While she was sobbing on our screens, producers, allegedly, were stuffing their pockets off her story. And when she asked questions, suddenly, promos stopped including her. Brand partnerships vanished. Her face, silently erased like she never even existed. And behind all that chaos, Gino, the hat, the confusion, the heartbreak. If your man looked like he was falling apart in Michigan, that wasn't acting. That was raw. He had no idea she had left for good, because TLC allegedly didn't tell him. They wanted his shock reaction on camera. They planned for his pain, down to the timing, like it was a scene in a movie. Could Jasmine have warned him? Yes. Did she? She didn't. But was it cruelty or caution? That depends on what comes next. Because this isn't just a breakup arc. This is bigger. This is Jasmine versus the entire system. She's fired the first shot in a war against fake love, buried contracts, emotional blackmail, and what insiders are now calling TLC's reality exploitation machine. And guess who's next? Gino, the editors, the producers, the other cast members who allegedly got silenced the same way. Jasmine's side of the story is being called a blueprint. Not for revenge, but resistance. And if even half of her claims are true, the fallout won't just cancel seasons, it'll dismantle reputations. And here's the part that'll make your blood freeze. Fans didn't even know she was missing at first. She went from funniest cast member to social media ghost in literal hours. No camera crew. No post. No last crying scene. TLC tried to turn her final bout into a casual side note. But screenshots started leaking, cast started speaking, and Jasmine's name started trending for all the wrong reasons. Don't blink. This gets a lot darker before it ever gets clear. When Jasmine first stepped onto American soil, she didn't come chasing influencer fame. She came chasing Gino, a future, stability. She left her life in Panama, her kids, and every familiar thing behind, clutching a plane ticket and a belief that the man she'd met online would be her escape and her forever. What she wanted wasn't outrageous. A stable marriage, emotional security, maybe even a slice of the so-called American dream. TLC offered what looked like a golden opportunity. A platform, a paycheck, a new beginning. But behind those bright green card fantasies and pillow talk scenes, something much grimmer was being written for her. Not by her. Because Jasmine didn't just enter the United States, she walked into a high-conflict storyline, and the producers had already chosen her role. The jealous, unstable Latina, the overreactor, the one who screams instead of speaks, cries instead of communicates. Whether she liked it or not, she'd been cast as a walking storyline bomb. And guess what? It worked. Audiences were obsessed. Jasmine trended every week, and TLC milked it. But here's the curveball. Jasmine's personality off camera? According to multiple insiders and even past social footage, it was way more layered. She could be calm, loving, focused on inner work. But that version of her? It ended up on the cutting room floor. What we saw on screen was emotion, boosted like audio levels in post-production. She wasn't just edited, she was sculpted into chaos. Allegedly, producers would poke the bear before filming. Staff would remind her of past conflicts, show her cheating rumors, or even feed her half-truths that triggered her naturally passionate side. Then, the cameras rolled. And to viewers at home, those explosions? They looked spontaneous. They weren't. And that's where the emotional damage started stacking. According to sources close to production, every dramatic Jasmine meltdown we saw on screen came with tears off-screen too. Not the fake kind, the real ones. The lonely kind that happen in hotel rooms, hours after the cameras wrap, while you're questioning if the entire English-speaking world sees you as a monster. And here's where it crosses the line from reality TV into something way more messed up. Jasmine allegedly told friends that she felt trapped. Not physically, but emotionally locked in a version of herself she didn't recognize. The same show that had promised her a better life was now, in her eyes, rebranding her pain into primetime entertainment. In confessionals, her rawness would be weaponized. Off-screen apologies with Gino would be scrapped because drama tested better in previews. Introspective scenes were ignored. Growth? Not important. Instead, she says the producers pressed for bigger reactions, flashier fights, and more jealousy. She became their formula for perfect chaos. One producer allegedly called her ratings gold in an email that fans caught in a leak. But back in real life, Jasmine felt like she was losing everything, including herself. And now, here comes the twist. Because it's easy to say, well, she signed up for this. But what if she didn't sign up for that? What if the Jasmine we judged hardest was the Jasmine they wanted us to hate? Keep watching. We're only halfway up this mountain of receipts. The impact on her mental health wasn't invisible, it showed. Her weight started dropping. Her social media moods were all over the place. Fans began guessing, diagnosing, mocking. Did TLC ever show that? Did they show what happens when a person breaks down quietly between takes? No. They showed her screaming about shampoo, or crying over Gino's exes, or stalking his DMs. And Gino? He wasn't much help. In love? Maybe. But emotionally fluent? Not even close. More than once he laughed, shrugged, or froze as Jasmine spiraled. Was he confused, manipulated, or complicit? That's still unclear. Because the producers didn't just capture conflict. They allegedly created it, fed it, then deleted context until all that was left were explosions paired with goofy hats and awkward silences. And for Jasmine, the worst part? Even as she became the show's most memorable character, she also felt the most alone. She didn't feel successful. She felt used. The betrayal isn't just emotional anymore, it's financial. $70,000 disappears. Jasmine confronts the network. What she's told sends her into complete radio silence. And once again, Gino is caught in the middle, with no clue what's being hidden from him. Let's talk money. Or more specifically, where Jasmine's money allegedly went. By early 2024, Jasmine wasn't just a TV character. She was a full-fledged brand. Fans clicked, shared, remixed, reacted. Her scenes got turned into memes. Her fights went viral. Her signature over-the-top expressions became TikTok material. And TLC never missed a chance to capitalize on that. Loyal viewers started noticing something interesting. Jasmine was appearing outside the show, in YouTube promos, Facebook clips, sponsored digital spin-offs, even cross-promotions with other TLC franchises. But Jasmine's bank account didn't reflect any of it. That's when she reportedly decided to audit her impact. She combed through analytics, rewatched campaigns, and compared numbers. What she found allegedly stunned her. Rough estimates tied her likeness and storyline to at least $70,000 in additional ad revenue and branded content. all using footage, sound bites, and personal footage recorded during filming. None of that cash was hers. Not a single extra check. Why? Because of the fine print buried in the cast contracts. Here's how it works, at least based on what former cast members have said publicly. When you sign on to 90 Day Fiancé, you're basically giving TLC full control of your likeness throughout the production period. That means jokes you tell, meltdowns you have on camera, your outfits, expressions, your emotional breakdowns, all of it becomes raw material the network can use and reuse without paying you extra. Think that viral outburst you saw in a YouTube short was worth something? It might have earned TLC thousands, but to the cast, it's legally nothing. And Jasmine didn't know how deep it went. According to insider claims, she believed she was getting a revised contract mid-season, something TLC allegedly described as a cast loyalty bonus agreement that would include revenue sharing from sponsored digital content. Jasmine had even asked for this in writing. What she got was silence. When she followed up again, more silence, then ghosting. Then, according to reports, a sudden and coordinated pullback on all content featuring her outside of the core show. Posts vanished. She started showing up less in promotional trailers. Certain clips got pulled from TLC's YouTube page. Brand collabs she was in discussions for quietly dropped or deprioritized after months of back and forth. Jasmine didn't just get excluded, she got erased. How do you ghost the woman you turned into your top-tier ratings machine? TLC found a way, and Jasmine wasn't done fighting. Stay locked in. What's next hits different. So Jasmine retaliated the only way she knew how. Not publicly, not at first. She began documenting everything. Screenshots, proof of unpaid brand uses, evidence of oral promises. And when some of this started slipping into fan groups and Reddit threads, drama erupted. Accounts began picking it apart. Why was Jasmine missing from the last 3 promos? Why did her Instagram tank after she wouldn't re-sign? Why are other cast members getting cameo pushes, but not her? It was like watching an erasure unfold in real time, and fans weren't the only ones whispering. Other cast members reportedly backed her privately, saying they'd experienced similar blackouts when they questioned pay or pushed back on edits. Except most weren't bold enough to speak up. Jasmine was. The moment she refused to extend her contract, she stopped being a character and started being a threat. Behind the scenes, it was war. Jasmine allegedly reached out to producers directly for clarity. According to insider leaks, she received a vague legal response from the network. The message? Everything captured during production belongs to TLC. Your likeness is their asset, shown where, when, and how they choose. Period. Now picture this. You fly across countries, reshape your entire identity for a show, take on humiliation after humiliation, and when you finally say, I've done my part, they hit you with, you own nothing. You are nothing. Unless we say otherwise. This wasn't a rejection. It was a shutdown. One fan who dug into old clips found Jasmine in 5 different paid campaigns across TLC's partner pages. All monetized. All using her face, none reportedly paying her beyond the original flat cast appearance fee, which for many non-core couples is under $2,500 per episode before taxes. All while TLC stacked views, advertisers bought slots, and social algorithms pushed her content up the feed. Even on Jasmine's personal side, the damage hit. Her Instagram engagement took a nosedive. Sponsorship opportunities dried up. She was being quietly blacklisted. And if it hadn't been for fan-led receipts, she might have been quietly scrubbed forever. It became clear. Saying no to the next contract meant TLC couldn't squeeze another season out of her. So instead of compensation, she got retaliation. But Jasmine wasn't about to go quietly. Her next move wouldn't be a cryptic story or one last dramatic scene. It would be a disappearance and an unfiltered tell-all called Unedited, a way to reclaim the voice they blurred, the scenes they cut, and the dollars they allegedly kept. And as the money war built behind closed doors, Gino continued filming, smiling nervously, still hoping Jasmine would come back. He had no clue she was already gone. How Jasmine planned her entire exit without anyone, not even Gino, knowing. Why the producers allegedly tried to keep him in the dark, and how the same cameras filming her love story were laying the trap for her collapse. No camera crew, no makeup team, no producers begging for one last confessional. Jasmine Pineda left America the same way she once entered it. Alone, exhausted, and with no one really understanding what she was about to do. Except this time, it was on purpose. She didn't pack for a vacation, she packed her life. Quietly sold what she could, deactivated Cameo, took her Instagram private, told exactly no one in production, and then booked a one-way ticket to Panama and vanished. No big fight, no spin-off, no last-minute TLC twist. Jasmine didn't give them enough time. She didn't want to be edited into another breakdown. She wanted ownership, not over her storyline, over herself. Was it selfish? Brave? Maybe both. But one thing's clear, Gino didn't see it coming. While TLC was reportedly begging Jasmine to come back for one final appearance, a curtain call tell-all that could have been the juiciest finale in franchise history, she had already blocked the exit. She was done being their storyline. So why didn't she tell Gino? That's the question everyone kept asking. They'd been through a lot. Infidelity rumors, intimacy issues, family drama, screaming matches in cities across 2 countries. But despite all that, she'd still FaceTimed him day and night. So why leave without warning? Some said she was heartless. Others say she was protecting him. According to people close to her, Jasmine didn't trust production anymore. Not with her image, her narrative, or even her literal conversations. She suspected Gino was being kept out of the loop on purpose. If he knew she was planning to leave, he might try to stop her. Or worse, TLC might script that confrontation and turn her escape into another crazy girlfriend walks out scene. So she went silent, blocked out the noise, and disappeared without giving them a single frame to exploit. This wasn't a meltdown, it was a strategy. Jasmine didn't explode, she evaporated. Stay locked in, because what TLC did next will show you exactly what they feared the most. Once she was gone, TLC scrambled. That entire season had been building up to a crescendo. Jasmine and Gino either getting married or splitting on camera. Now, the main storyline evaporated, and the production team had minutes to rewrite months of airtime. According to insiders, damage control meetings were happening before Jasmine's plane even landed in Panama. Editors reeled in panic while social media managers disabled comment sections. Promos were adjusted at hyperspeed, suddenly featuring other couples more prominently. Jasmine started fading from footage she was already confirmed to be in. Certain trailers were edited down, key confessionals disappeared. They kept telling fans she's taking time for herself. But if she was truly taking time, why was her face being digitally erased from nearly every platform TLS had? And then fans. Fans started noticing. Within days, Reddit exploded with screenshots. 1 second, Jasmine was in the upcoming episode preview. The next second, she wasn't. One YouTube clip had her face on the thumbnail yesterday. Today it was changed. TikToks about her started getting mysteriously muted or delisted. Commenters weren't buying the time off excuse. They had questions, big ones. Why would TLC's most chaotic ratings magnet go totally offline mid-season? Why wasn't Gino talking about it? And more importantly, what were they hiding? Some accused Jasmine of pulling a stunt. Others said TLC was covering for something massive. But there was one theory that hit like a truth bomb. They can't spin the narrative if they don't own the ending. Because without fresh footage, without a Jasmine-approved breakdown, TLC had no way to control the narrative. Jasmine didn't just disappear, she cut their access. Think about how obsessed they'd been with exposure. And now, the woman they'd built an entire season around wasn't picking up the phone, wasn't responding to offers, was done. And if you're wondering where Gino fits into all this, let's be real. He was in damage, not relationship mode. Tabloids caught him outside his Michigan house looking completely wrecked. Yes, even he didn't know. According to a former production assistant, Gino had been operating under the impression that Jasmine was just pulling back. He thought her silence was part of another Cold War. He didn't know she'd already left the country until after filming wrapped. By then, it was over. He was calling, texting, voice noting, and Jasmine, allegedly, never replied. Why? Because it wasn't personal anymore. To her, this wasn't even about Gino. This was about reclaiming her dignity after feeling played, sidelined, gaslit, and underpaid. Online, Team Jasmine rose out of nowhere. So did hashtags. #justice. For Jasmine, #TLC exposed, and eventually, Unedited, a title everyone would come to know very soon. TLC had banked on Jasmine being outrageous until the end. They never expected her to ghost the entire machine. But before we jump to her tell-all plans, we have to break down how TLC allegedly tried to flip the narrative, and how fan detectives exposed their editing tricks in real time. Because if you thought Jasmine leaving was the drama, what comes next proves the show was always more fiction than fact. When Jasmine disappeared, she didn't whisper. She vanished with complete silence, and that's what made it louder than any on-screen freakout she'd ever had. No Instagram lives, no goodbye post, not even a vague story with a sad song lyric. Just gone. Fans noticed instantly. Her energy had practically powered the entire season. You don't remove your lead drama engine without sparking curiosity, suspicion, and yes, outrage. And once it became obvious she wasn't coming back, the fandom exploded. What started as quiet curiosity turned into a digital storm. Reddit theories caught fire. Fan accounts started lining up side-by-sides of previous episode promos and final edits. You'd see Jasmine in the original preview, crying or kissing Gino. Then, in the actual episode, that scene, poof, missing. TikTok sleuths pointed out odd audio jumps, sudden cuts, spliced reaction shots that made Jasmine look unhinged. One clip claimed to show Jasmine throwing a dress during an emotional breakup. But the dress toss was from another city, another episode. The edits weren't just sloppy. They felt deliberate. One viral theory accused TLC of reconstructing timelines, from separate filming days to make Jasmine appear erratic when she was, in fact, reacting to completely different events. And that's when documents reportedly started leaking. According to users claiming to be former editors or staff, emails were shared that allegedly showed internal instructions to focus on emotional moments that shift audience sympathy toward Gino and remove payment conflict references. One line in particular sent fans spiraling. The less context, the stronger the reaction. Viewers who once laughed at Jasmine's breakdowns were now starting to ask if they'd been laughing at a character, not a person. Suddenly, all those chaotic scenes, from weaves to wedding rings, weren't funny. They looked manufactured. You thought you were watching real drama? This wasn't reality. It was production with an agenda. Keep watching. The next twist hits where it hurts. While Reddit dissected edits frame by frame, Gino was quietly falling apart. Photos surfaced of him pacing outside his house late at night, phone in hand, eyes red. TMZ caught him pulling into a Walmart parking lot and just sitting, like someone replaying the same voicemail over and over. Sources said he believed Jasmine had just ghosted him in a petty lover's spat, that maybe she'd make a dramatic return in the tell-all, tears flying, cameras rolling, ready to make up or square off. But that never happened, because she never told him either. He found out her Panama departure the same way the rest of us did. Online, through fan leaks, and when producers subtly framed Jasmine's exit as a dramatic act of jealousy or burnout, Gino finally got suspicious. Fans said he began asking questions behind the scenes. Some even claimed he reached out to production trying to confirm Jasmine's status. But by then, the damage control machine had already taken over. Even TLC's official support accounts were reportedly instructed to deflect. Comment sections were full of, "Where's Jasmine? Is she okay? Did she quit?" All ignored. Or worse, deleted. Then came the retaliation TikToks. Videos of Jasmine cloned across TLC's vault content, slowly getting purged. Why is Jasmine's best fight scene gone from the franchise reel? One fan asked. Why are her tweets disappearing from brand accounts? Another posted. The overwhelming vibe wasn't just censorship. It felt like erasure. In response, Jasmine supporters created digital archives. Old clips, deleted promos, even cameos she'd done were screen recorded and uploaded to fan preservation accounts like historical cases. It was no longer a fandom. It became a movement. Justice for Jasmine wasn't just about love anymore. It was about ethics. Mainstream commentary channels jumped in. YouTubers dissected edits. Podcast panels turned TLC's silence into the scandal. One lawyer-led reaction channel even created a whole episode series breaking down reality show contract law, word by word. Instagram drama accounts noticed Jasmine wasn't even being tagged anymore. No acknowledgements, no promotions. TLC was allegedly trying to write her out like she'd never been there in the first place. But the quiet only amplified the noise. Twitter threads called out the network for emotional exploitation packaged as romance. TikTok users asked how many other cast members had also been scrubbed after raising financial or ethical red flags. Others began sharing their own warp speed villain arcs. Even contestants from other franchises started replying to Jasmine clips with cryptic "been there" comments and emojis. She had gone from crazy cast member to whistleblower movement. And yet, at the center of all this chaos, Jasmine, still silent. No live stream, no Notes app apology, not even a denial. She was done performing. Everything she had to say was being saved for the book. And the title, Unedited. The book TLC tried to stop, the release that ignited a whole new fire, and Gino's breaking point that finally made him choose a side, publicly and permanently. When Jasmine finally broke her silence, it wasn't with a cryptic Instagram story or a dramatic TikTok. It was with a word, bold, sharp, and aimed straight at the empire that made her a star and then tried to erase her. Unedited. That was the name of the manuscript. A tell-all. A confession. A public uppercut with the potential to rip open the entire reality TV pipeline. The idea started quietly, notes in a journal, voice memos during sleepless nights, screenshots piled up in a folder named Proof. Jasmine wasn't racing to expose TLC for revenge. She was writing for herself, to reclaim the version of her the world never got to meet, the one buried under edits, screamathons, and producer-curated breakdowns. And when the name leaked, TLC panicked. According to insiders, legal teams went into overdrive. They immediately reviewed cast NDAs, rechecked Jasmine's old paperwork, and scrambled to prepare cease and desist drafts before a single page even saw daylight. But it was too late. Pages, and not just summaries, raw excerpts, started circulating in fan DM groups and commentary forums. Some were written like journal entries. Others described moment-by-moment breakdowns of key scenes, revealing what actually happened before the tapes rolled and after the screen cuts to black. One excerpt? I wasn't angry at Gino. I was angry at knowing I'd have to cry louder just to make the edit. They never asked me to be myself. They asked me to be marketable. That one sentence flipped people's opinions overnight. The result? Jasmine went from controversial castmate to symbol. And behind the scenes, more people were watching than fans realized. Other cast members, the ones still under contract, still smiling in their scripted love stories, started reaching out to her in secret, whispering quiet support, sharing their own stories of low pay, fake timelines, emotional bait, and switch. They saw in Jasmine what they couldn't be themselves. Free, untouched by TLC's grip. Brave enough to break the silence. Still, there was one person whose reaction everyone held their breath for. Gino. Would he call her bitter? Would he defend the show? No. He went quiet. He disappeared from public posts for weeks. Then, out of nowhere, he appeared on a lower viewer podcast. Not a flashy TMZ level deal, but the kind fans actually listened to. And what he said shocked everyone. I didn't know what she was going through, he said, clearly holding back emotion. I thought she was just upset with me. I didn't realize they were also telling me what to think. He admitted it. He'd been manipulated too. Fed lines, left out of key conversations, emotionally kept in suspense to get more authentic reactions. And somewhere during the podcast, he revealed even more. He'd left Jasmine a voicemail after learning about the $70,000 situation. I told her, "I'm sorry if I ever added to your pain. I wish I had protected you better. I thought I was doing our story. Turns out I was doing theirs." That voicemail reportedly reached Jasmine. No, she didn't call back. But friends close to her say she listened to it more than once. And maybe that makes everything worse, because it raises the real question nobody, TLC, the fans, the cast, can escape anymore. Was any of this ever real? Was that love story something we got to witness honestly? Or was it a packaged plotline, chopped into conflicts, locked between ad breaks, sold with hashtags? Were those tears from heartbreak, or from being pushed until you break? Were these characters, or casualties? And if Jasmine and Gino, the most over-the-top, passionate, dysfunctional love story in 90-day history, couldn't tell which part of their emotions were theirs and which belonged to the camera, then what were we even watching? This isn't about drama anymore. It's about control, about identity, about how far a network can rewrite your life to fit a storyline, and how hard you're willing to fight to pull it back. Jasmine's book, Unedited, is now live through an indie publisher. TLC's legal team is still circling like sharks. Former castmates are waiting for contracts to expire. And fans? They're still watching, closer, smarter, hungrier for the truth, not the cut. And Jasmine? She hasn't posted a glam photo. No staged vacation pics. No passive-aggressive captions. Her first post since release? A plain image, black and white. Her facing the ocean. No filter. The caption? "You can silence a scene, not a soul." 3 more cast members are ready to speak out, with messages Jasmine never posted, gag orders they were threatened with, and one wild receipt hiding in plain sight on a pillowcase you've already seen. This isn't over, it's starting.